Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to episode 16 of Europa Universalis IV. We are playing as England and hoping to form the British nation at some point. I'm actually playing everything on a high speed right now simply because we are trying to get a little bit of money in the bank. We do have quite a lot of loans that we need to get paid off. At the same time, there we go, Burgundy has left the military coalition against us. That is fantastic news. At the same time, we are trying to rebuild our army. We're starting to get some manpower back now, which is good, although the lack of coin can make it a little bit difficult to build some new armies, but we are certainly going to go ahead and do that. We can invest in a new idea. So let's go ahead and get ourselves Quest for the New World. That will cost us 400 diplomatic power. It allows us to join a number of nations set to explore the world outside of their borders or strive to be the first nation to circumnavigate the world by commencing a quest for the New World. And it allows the recruitment of explorers and conquistadors. So, in order to take a boat out into... In order to take a ship out into Terra Incognita, which is this area over here, you actually need an explorer. Otherwise, you start to get a lot of attrition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trade fleet, which is out over here somewhere, and I'm going to take one of these ships, and I'm going to just... It's on a trade mission. Right, okay. What trade are you doing? North Sea. So, let's bring you home to Norfolk for the time being. In fact, I can actually do it now. Create new unit. I am going to just take one ship. I'm going to select this unit. You're going to come down here to Cornwall. And as for the other, which is this one over here, you are going to continue to protect trade in the North Sea. Okay. So we will just take the timer off that. There we go. So this ship has now landed here. Now, if we were to try and take it here, you can see I've actually got a little red cross on the hand. This has a little green arrow on the pointer, so I can go into this tile, but I can't go into this tile because it's Terra Incognita. So what I need to do is assign a conquistador. So I'm going to go here. Well, not a conquistador. I actually need a... An explorer, sorry. I need an explorer. Conquistadors are for land, explorers are for water. I don't have enough diplomatic power to hire one at the moment, though, so we're not going to be able to do that straight away. But at least I've got him down there ready and waiting, and I'll remember as soon as I've got enough diplomatic power, which won't take too long, we'll be able to take him off down there and get that done. So there's another loan that we can repay. How are we actually doing on loans? I'll go and have a look in a moment. We are going to start building a few more units. Let's get some more infantry going. Let's have a quick look at the loans. We're now down to 16. Well, we've got 10 paid off. We were at 26 for a while. We could use some admin power to reduce inflation, but I don't think we need to do that right now. We have a military leader that has died, which is a little bit of a shame. I'm not going to hire another one right now, even though we can have a free leader, which means we don't pay any maintenance for them. In terms of military power, it does mean that if we were to hire one, it would still cost us some military power just to hire him in the first place. So we're not going to worry about that too much. And I'm just going to continue to try and bolster my army. I'm going to make a third sort of a third army over here. Try and split them all up a little bit. Not that we should have any problems with attrition, because most of these provinces have more than enough weight to carry sort of probably 20 troops or more, so 20 regiments or more, so we don't have to worry too much about that. We've got another random event, which means we can either lose 1 stability or 33 prestige. Well, I'm not going to take the stability hit, so we will take the hit to the prestige. I think we can probably afford to go in and get another infantry. Are starting to get a little bit closer to our army force limit. We're currently at 26. Like I said, I think we need to hit 30 or 31 to get the 75%, which would then give us our quest would then be completed. We've got enough diplomatic power now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and we are going to hire an explorer. And we've got Isaac Benbow, who has 2 fire, 3 shock, 1 maneuver. These guys work pretty much the same way in battle as admirals do. But what we will now have the ability to do is actually move into Terra Incognita. So I'm going to get this ship, once it's selected, to move out here into Terra Incognita. I'm then going to hold down Shift and click back on Cornwall. The reason I want to do that is because if I just tell him to go over here and I forget about him, he will sit out there forever, take attrition, and the boat will just take lots of damage and die. So we're going to move out, and I've then hit Shift and click back on Cornwall, which has queued him up to come back, which means I won't lose him. So I've just hit pause there. If we click on him, it hasn't taken too much attrition because he didn't go far enough away, but it's always good to let them come back and try and repair. We can just keep our eye on them, of course. Let's zoom out a little bit. So we do have another Terra Incognita tile over here that we could go and check out. Of course, we are doing this on one of the faster speeds, so I do have to be careful. As you can see, he is actually taking some attrition at the moment. And this is what will happen when we go into these places. If we actually have a look now, we can see how much attrition it's taking. It's actually taking 9% attrition. So it's already down to 88% of its health. And this is the reason why you do have to keep coming back just to repair up. Otherwise, you could potentially lose a ship. So let's bring him back. We will eventually get our way across. He's already returned home. It's currently repairing up. It's at 89%. So it will take a little while. Maybe after the month ticks over. It's at 99%. Let's let it get to 100. You never know when that 1% is going to make a difference. We can afford a new technology, and that is going to be a military tech. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, what that will give us is it'll actually give us men at arms, which are slightly better infantry. So we're going to go ahead and pick up military tech level number 5. Now, we'll have a new option now, and what that option says is, let's just group this together. We've got this option up here that says superior unit types. Now, this is the good thing that you can do with your land units, your military units. Every time you get a military upgrade that gives you a new unit type, you can actually go ahead and change the type. So I don't think our cavalry gets a new upgrade, but if we actually look at there, these units might be better choices. Men-at-Arms is superior to Latin Medieval Infantry. So we're going to change our Latin Medieval Infantry. We have got the option for Longbow, and we've got the option for Men-at-Arms. You can see the difference between them. They both have 1 pip in offensive and defensive morale. However, Men-at-Arms have defensive shock and Longbows have offensive shock. But what we're going to do is we're going to pick Men-at-Arms. That is our default unit now. And what this will do is you can see all of the morale of our troops is currently dropped, because what is happening now is these guys are being upgraded. So it can be very risky upgrading to a new unit type in the middle of a war, because upgrading to a new unit type potentially means that your men all lose morale and will be really weak. But it does mean you don't have to replace your men. This, however, isn't the same for ships. If you get a new diplomatic technology that gives you a new ship type, any new ships you build will be of the new type, but your old ships of the old type will still remain in service. And there's no way to upgrade them. You actually have to decommission them. That is going to be one of the changes in the new Art at War expansion. You will actually be able to upgrade your ships for a fee, as opposed to having to demolish them and completely rebuild them from scratch. So it is quite nice that they are adding that option in there. We can actually also invest in our administrative tech now and take that up to level 5. So let us go ahead and do that. As you can see, our diplomatic tech is actually getting a little bit far behind, because we've been spending our diplomacy points in the national ideas. We do need to save up some points and get this technology level up, because it will ultimately give us a better distance to our colonization range, which means we'll be able to establish colonies further away. So we need to do that. So we've got that new tech level. It now means that we can actually go ahead and start building some temples, although we don't have enough admin power, because it does cost admin power to build temples at the moment. And we could also get constables for production efficiency. Production efficiency is something that you want to increase in provinces that have valuable trade resources, but tax is good all the way along. So let's go ahead and send this guy to Terra Incognita, and then we will bring him back to Cornwall. There we go. And let's go ahead and unpause. Hopefully we won't lose him. Could, of course, try and get some sort of fleet basing rights from Leinster. As you can see, Castilians are travelling out here and back again. They're certainly looking for something. So we've actually found a little bit of land there. You can actually just see that we've found the edge of some land, which is quite interesting. We would actually need to drop a conquistador off to actually see what any of it is. I can see that Castile and Portugal are certainly taking the fight to Morocco. Even Aragon are starting to take a province or two down there as well. So Morocco might actually fall quite quickly, but that's fine. Not too worried about that. Need to get some admin power up so we can start to get ourselves some of these buildings. So we can get the temple. The temple gives us +1 gold to our tax income. Some of these places already have temples built. Oh, wrong button. Temple. Some of these places already have temples built, so we don't need to worry about them. Now, there are some percentage modifiers. So as you can see, if we were to build the temple over in these provinces, we'd only get a 0.77 increase, whereas if we built it in any of these provinces, we would get a 1.1 increase. So they're the most important places to build it in. So let's go ahead and get as many of them queued up as we can afford to do. So that's that done. Let's unpause. You are still getting repaired. You're at 99%. I suppose that it's good enough, really. We want to try and uncover as much as possible. So we are going to go ahead and send you here, and then send you back to Cornwall. There we go. So let's go ahead and unpause. And it's quite possible that Castile have already got out there and that they have already started to settle on the new world. I'm not sure if they have the colonization range to do so, but it is quite possible. As I say, we are starting to take a little bit of damage. It's not a massive amount, but it can certainly be problematic. Getting a good deal of manpower now as well into the 1st of January. This ship is only at 91%. Wait till the end of January, 100%. So we're going to move into this tile, and then we are going to move back. What I would also like to do while we have some money is go ahead and get another temple or two in the places that give me the most gold income. Got a little bit of money left, so let's go ahead and get ourselves a few more infantry units up and running. Can't really afford any cavalry. Got plenty of manpower. I think it's gold that is our issue at the moment. And we have another random event. So we can either gain 61 ducats and Catholicism gets a +0.5 reform desire, or we can gain 15 papal influence. I think we'll take the money at the moment because that seems to be one of our biggest issues. That means that I can go ahead and get a couple more cavalry units. So let's go ahead and do that. And that should take us right up close to our force limit once all of these regiments have been produced. So we'll allow all of them to pop up. There we go. And we have completed a mission. That's fine. You go up and join that army. You can go up and join that army as well. Let's go ahead and see what missions we've got. We can either spread our culture to Gascogne. Gascogne's culture is different from our own. It makes our people uncomfortable to visit Gascogne. That should be rectified. So if we can change Gascogne's culture to English, we would gain 10 diplomatic power. Or we could become the papal controller. That's going to be quite difficult. Or we could vassalize Scotland. And that is going to be quite difficult as well. So I think for the moment, I'm actually not going to take a mission. I'm going to wait and see what our options become. Gascogne, could we actually change its culture? We'd need 200 diplomatic power to change the culture of this province, and we only have 100. So we could go ahead and do that, though it does become a little bit problematic to a certain degree, because that means we're spending our diplomatic power again, and that makes it more difficult to get our diplomatic tech up. And this is where the skill and the strategy with EU4 comes into play, because you have to carefully balance your decisions about where you spend these monarch points. You only get so many of them, and they are so important because they are used to purchase and upgrade just about everything in the game. So you really have to stop and think about which one of those things you're actually going to spend it on. So you do have to be very, very careful there. Ship still hasn't arrived back yet. We should be able to see it up here, our navy. It's only at 58% health. Oh, there it is. It's actually just arrived back. So that's going to take a little bit of time to repair. And it's actually found the Bermudan Sea. So we're actually starting to find the sort of east coast of America there. It is still going to take a little bit of time for it to get repaired to a point where I'm confident to take it back out to sea. And my military units are now starting to pop up, including my cavalry. So you guys can all go ahead and merge up in there. Lots and lots of pop-up. Let's go group that up. If we actually have a quick look now, we can see we are at 38 to 42. So we're nearly at our force limit. Not quite. So I guess what we could do, if we can afford it, which we can't right now, so I'm not going to bother with it. But we'll get 4 more units, and we'll add 2 to each of those, and we'll have 3 armies of 14, and then everything will even out. This should put you up to 98%. 98% is a percentage that I am fine with. So let's go ahead and move you into that tile, and then we're going to come and bring you back over to this tile. Hopefully you'll make that quite nicely. Still starting to make a little bit of money. What have we got here? We've got 3 cavalry. We've got 1 cavalry there. And we've got 2 cavalry there. So I think what we should do here is I'm just going to split off one of these cavalry. Actually, have you only got the 1 cavalry? Okay, let me just pause because I'm now getting myself confused. You've got the 1 cav. You've got 3 cav. So you are going to split off one of your cavalry. And that cavalry is going to come down here. And then you are going to split off one of your infantry. And then that member of the infantry is going to move there. And that will even that up. You'll have 2 cavalry each. You'll have 2. So 2 and 12. And the others will all have 2 and 12. And then it will help my OCD because everyone will have the sort of same numbers. So what we want to do is I want 1 more cavalry for each of these guys. If we can afford it. So probably not. 1, 2. Can't afford the 3rd one, not just yet anyway. That ship has returned down to 74%, so it took a bit more damage. Did we discover anything else over there? Yeah, we are starting to discover areas. We are going to have to keep moving inland though, just to get a really good look around and see what is available. See if we're going to be ready to start colonizing soon. And we have a free advisor slot, and this is our military advisor this time. Plus 10% morale to armies. Well, he's all we can afford, but 10% morale to our armies is fantastic. So we may have to take our transport fleet over there at some point with a couple of soldiers, just so that we can start colonizing, providing we have that sort of colonial reach. So you guys can group up there. You guys can group up there. In fact, you guys didn't actually need one. Right, you needed to be 14. So let us split you. I'm going to take one of your infantry. And you can move across over here. So you're going to have 3 cavalry. You're going to group up. You're going to have 3 cavalry as well. I'll get them all even. At some point, I'll manage it. Let's go ahead. Let's get another cavalry. Add to that one. So they all should hopefully be 11 infantry and 3 cavalry. So you need 1 more infantry. And you need 1 more cavalry, which we're currently making. So if we go ahead, get 1 more man-at-arms, add to this stack, that'll put us up to our force limit. And then I'm probably going to have to split them up when we start going to the New World to start colonizing anyway, because you will need defensive troops when you start colonizing. So get over to that tile there. And then, of course, make the round trip back to Cornwall so you can come and repair. Once you actually get a colony, your first colony established over there, you can then obviously dock your boats there, and that makes it easier. So sometimes it's nice to find little islands, and it allows you to leapfrog around, which is the preferred way of doing things. France has now left the military coalition against us, which is good, because that should now... Oh, no, don't move. Stay in London. That should now mean that we don't actually have a military coalition against us at all. And we do not, which is fantastic. We've built our army up a little bit now. How are things going over here with Leinster? Would they consider at any point vassalization? No, they still wouldn't, but if you actually see, the negative penalty that we were getting due to the army size has now disappeared. So we need one more positive than negative for reasons for an acceptance. We currently have -2. That's actually quite close. What is our... Yeah, there's not an awful lot else that's changing it. Royal marriage, threatened attitude, diplomatic reputation, trust. We are getting so close. If we could just get a little bit more out of our tax base, we could potentially do this. So, we're going to carry on trying to do that as soon as we can afford to build a couple more temples. There we go. We now have our force limit, or at least we should be. Yep, 42 of 42. So we get another random event. We can either lose 50 admin power or we can lose 10 prestige. We're not doing very well on the prestige, but I don't want to lose the admin power, that's certainly for sure. Obviously, if we do have any wars, that is a good way of getting prestige, so things aren't too bad. And prestige does actually go up yearly anyway, so it's actually not too bad. We are gaining a little bit of additional prestige. Our ship has arrived back here, down to 41% health, so as you can see, they're actually taking quite a bashing now, trying to get all the way over here. We do have some more coast. We couldn't even colonize any of these lands if we wanted to, because our colonial range is 160 and this is 321 distance away from our closest unblockaded core. So we might have to find land somewhere else that we could use potentially to colonize. I guess we could go over and try and find Iceland. That could be quite interesting. Let's actually consider doing that. Let's consider going over here and then returning to Cornwall afterwards. See what we've got. Not too much point finding all of America when we can't really deal with it right now. It certainly looks like Castile were successful in taking some of Granada, although they haven't taken Granada's capital. They have managed to take Almeria and Gibraltar. Also looks like Portugal has managed to take or hold on to Tangiers and Ceuta there, although the rest of Morocco looks okay. Doesn't seem to be too much going on in France. Are they at war with anybody? No, not at the moment. Makes a change. What about Burgundy? No, you're not in any wars either at the moment. So things seem to be going relatively well. But once again, I think that is probably a good point to end the video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Europa Universalis IV, and I'll see you next time. So until then, goodbye for now.